Say, all you people who work in the liquor industry in the U.S.?
Starting today, LCBO, the largest purchaser of alcohol in the world, will begin removing U.S. products from its store shelves. And as the exclusive wholesaler, American brands will no longer be available in LCBO catalog, meaning other retailers, bars, and restaurants in the province will no longer be able to restock U.S. products. This is an enormous hit to the American producers. Every year, the LCBO sells nearly $1 billion worth of U.S. wine, beer, cider, seltzers, and spirits.
See how that works? Yeah.
Skies above me here in Kyiv are currently protected by American weapons, and Trump has just said that he's cutting all of it off, and that's a really worrying time for Ukraine. But this is going to backfire on Trump. In fact, it already has. Number one, because so many people, active military personnel, or those that work in weapons contracts in the US are conservatives. They vote Republican, and they probably voted for Trump. And right now, this is hitting them hard in the pocket, and it's embarrassing the United States. And speaking of that, the number one thing that you have to have if you're buying weapons is trust. Trust they'll work, and trust they'll continue to work. And what Trump has just done is to say, if you have a weapons contract with the United States, if the president has a petty argument with someone, they'll just pull the plug, and your weapons will become useless. And everyone in the world, every country with a contract with the US is watching what he's just done, and they're pulling out. Stocks in those companies are plummeting in the US, and in Europe they're through the roof. BAE Systems, which is the British version of these big American contractors, is up 15% today. And what could actually happen here is that Europe could see this boom in defense spending and fill the void that America has left. America will be left in the hole and embarrassed, while Europe can finally defend itself.
It's been a rough couple of weeks for MAGA Republicans, but I feel like we can do better. The Supreme Court's not cooperating, Trump's agenda is backfiring, Doge is imploding, and yet I feel absolutely compelled to point out that this horror movie that's playing out across the headlines, this was their choice. When Biden left office, wages were growing, GDP was growing, the stock market and our retirement plans were up, unemployment was rock bottom. The only thing that was actually a problem, grocery prices, had actually leveled off over a year before Biden left office. But that wasn't good enough for Republicans. They were so hysterical over the idea of a black woman taking office that they shot the country in the foot to stop it from happening. But that's left them in quite the predicament, because now they're forced to fix all the problems that they swore we had, and that has left them in an absolute panic to find the problem severe enough to warrant the insane treatment they've inflicted on us. So like a deranged doctor in a horror movie, they're chopping up our retirement plans, cutting down wage growth, hacking away at the GDP, carving holes in the federal workforce, slicing trade deals in half, and severing alliances, all in a desperate, destructive, and transparent attempt to cure a disease we never had.
Maybe the last issue that Republicans, Democrats, and independents actually agree on, which is why I shouldn't be surprised Trump figured out a way to shit on it. That is that auto manufacturing is and should always be a core part of the American identity and the American economy, which is why it's so infuriating that a key American CEO just said he may have to lay off American workers because of Trump's policies. This is not just about tariffs. Yes, American-made vehicles are often made with foreign parts, especially electric vehicles, which are made with parts that aren't even available in the United States. Those tariffs are going to add to the problem, but these cuts are specifically because Trump wants to roll back Biden-era incentives for green energy development. Incentives American companies have already used to justify expansion and hiring. Incentives, I have to point out, are absolutely essential for American manufacturers, specifically in the electric space, because they are competing with Elon Musk, who makes his Teslas in China. This is all happening because Trump has a fundamental misunderstanding of how the free market works. By making it more expensive for American car companies to make electric vehicles here, he's giving a huge opportunity to auto manufacturers in Japan and South Korea, who are not subject to our tariffs, to build and sell electric vehicles here cheaper than we can make ourselves. Those manufacturers can then charge more because Americans can't compete at that low price point. This is going to get so bad so fast that Trump is going to have to roll it back, leaving all of this nothing more than a messy failed distraction, costing millions of dollars, costing thousands of jobs, and damaging the economy and the job market at a time when we need stability most.
I didn't know that he was going to take my husband's tractors away. Also, I did not know that it was going to mean that my little boy was not going to be able to go to Head Start no more. And then I did not know that we was going to be out all of the caches from the food stuff I did not know we was going to be losing that money, okay? We need it. And then I heard that they was going to mess with Papaw's Social Security. And this is just a little bit more than we can stomach around here, if you know what I mean. So I don't know who we need to call to fix this. We need to call somebody and talk to the manager.
So I voted third party because I didn't want to vote for Joe Biden. I thought he was doing a bad job, but I didn't want to vote for Trump either. Do I regret my choice? Well, yeah, obviously now, but I didn't really think this was going to happen. I didn't vote in the election because I didn't think that my vote mattered. Biden actually lost in my area by 50 votes, and so if 50 of us had actually gone out and voted for him, he would have won our area, and he also would have won the state. Yeah, I wish I had been more educated because I would have gone and voted, and it would have mattered. Yeah, so I voted for Trump because I was really passionate about him. I thought he was going to make America great again, and I thought he was going to do stuff that the libtards weren't doing, but it turns out he just wanted to get revenge on the left. If I had known this is what he meant by make America great again, I definitely would not have voted for him now. Yeah, fuck those three. I voted for Biden.
More Trump voters are publicly regretting their vote for Donald Trump as he continues to back out of campaign promises and instead focuses on his billionaire friends. Now, first it was the Steelworkers Union out of Pennsylvania. Now firefighter unions in New York City are publicly speaking out as Donald Trump and Republicans failed to fund the 9/11 first responder healthcare program that is designed to help the first responders who are still suffering from being there on the ground during 9/11. Now, you can say that Donald Trump had nothing to do with that, but understand Republicans took that out of the funding bill under direction from President-elect Trump and Elon Musk. Now, so far, Donald Trump has only focused on delivering for his billionaire buddies and nonsense such as Greenland, Canada, Mexico, Panama, all this stuff that he didn't talk about. Not once have you heard him talk about lowering gas prices, lowering grocery prices, your energy bill, etc. All the things he promised during the campaign, he is backing out of because he only cares about one person, himself, and the people who paid to get him elected.
I want to preface what you're about to see by noting I am not looking for sympathy or validation here. I was just expressing some remorse and some grief and some sorrow because I think it can help a lot of people to kind of process through that. A lot of people who were like me voted for Trump and have to account for that. There are moments where I'm just overcome with grief and regret. Not anger, not rage, but just grief and regret over having voted for Trump in 2016. And I get that I've come a long way. I get all that. That doesn't take away those moments. It does not take away the regret, the guilt. I mean, I could work through it, and I do that regularly for a lot of different issues, not just who I voted for in 2016, but I just wanted to document this because this is one of those moments. I just saw the Kamala Harris ad talking about how she is the president for all the people and how Trump has a history of wanting to withhold aid from people who didn't vote for him. And I was responsible. I was partly responsible for putting him in office. I was part of that crowd. And that's something I'm going to have to live with. And I will. But there are moments like right now where that can be overwhelming.
Breaking news, guys. The Trump administration is finalizing a major new travel ban that could affect citizens from several countries, potentially more extensive than previous bans. A draft proposal includes a red list of countries whose citizens could face a complete ban from entering the United States, with Afghanistan being a key focus. Afghan citizens, including those with valid visas, could face a full ban. The proposed red list consists mainly of countries who were restricted under the previous version of Trump's travel ban, including Cuba, Iran, Libya, North Korea, Somalia, Sudan, Syria, Venezuela, and Yemen. The new system includes orange and yellow categories, which could limit visas and travel access based on security concerns. Countries not cooperating with vetting and other traveler information will face a strict ban. Friends, I'm covering all things related to Trump travel bans. Follow for more.